All right. We'll move on next. We have another applicant here with us in person, number 58 from the Mel Fisher Maritime Heritage Society.
This is the Key West Naval Warehouse or Naval Storehouse Facade Restoration and Fire Escape Replacement Project. The funding requested amount is $500,000 with a match amount of $503,000 for a total budget amount of $1,003,000. This development project type scope of work includes repair, replace 17 windows, repair, replace lintels, masonry, and window sills on north and south facades, waterproof north facade exterior, replace exterior fire escape on south facade, permitting and architectural engineering services. Pursuant to the program guidelines in the concerns and issues section, multiple special category projects cannot be under contract at one time. The applicant currently has the following funded grant projects open: 25.H.SC.100.116. There are no proposed scope of work or budget assessment recommendations.
Thank you, Nicole. And we have applicants here with us. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, Melissa Kendrick, Executive Director, and Dr. Madeline Burnside, Chief Curator.
Thank you for being here in person. All right. Do we have
Thanks for having us.
Questions from our commissioners?
I just want to thank you for coming all that way. You do it every year, but it's still nice to see you. You know, it's a long trek, and I appreciate having you here in person.
First time in 6 months I've been off the island, so it's welcome.
Wow. Not the worst place.
I want to commend you for having Raul Rodriguez on your team, who is an esteemed architect that's semi-retired. And I also want to commend him for donating a big portion of his fee.
Yes, he's also our board chairman.
Oh, he's the chairman now. All right, even better. So you're in very good hands.
Yes, he keeps me calm.
I scored you very high. I gave you 98 out of 100.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify, you said repair and replace. I may have had that somewhere in the narrative, but you see the budget for the windows are so low. It's our intention. Jody Rubin came to the building and we crawled all through it and went through an evaluation of the windows. Most of the windows on the north side that we're proposing to do the work on are in pretty good shape. They need to be, cleaned up and get some love. When we were going for reaccreditation, we did a lot of work on the inside of the building on trim and that. So we had them open. We fixed the weights and the lines, vacuumed out all the nice carpenter ants, got rid of everything in the holes of the building. So we think that we just need the love at this point on the outside. Of all of the 17 windows, there's 2 cracked panes of glass in there in my office. Should I tell them why? No. Okay. Kamikaze birds fly out of the trees on the courtyard of the face of the building, and they think the building's not there, and they just fly right in to the glass. So I have 2 near misses right by my desk. And Jody and I, we tried to figure out how much of the glass is original of what's there throughout the building. We can see that a lot of it is, but because the county had the building and some post office occupation in between the Navy and whatever happened after, we can tell that some of the glass has been replaced. But we'll go through and do whatever we have to do on the north face and make it pretty.
What's the status of your grant that's open? I think that was for the facade or the canopy. I'm trying to remember when I was down there.
I wanted to stand here and say that we were done. All we have left is on if you see the picture on the lowest right-hand corner there, that little shed roof there, all we have to do is put up the wood deck and then the decking cover. All the iron supports have been taken care of, all the masonry on that wall we finished up. But we ran into a lot of rain in the last month, 2. And then we had it. If you're ever on Facebook or TikTok or anything, there are pictures of waterfront stores on Duval Street. people in their kayaks going down Duval Street. Well, if you get a truck, we'll be happy to give it to you. Yeah, and then we had a little bit of a circumstance that actually slowed down my other project that I have on the art side, is when the ICE squads came through looking for people who shouldn't be here. A lot of the people with green cards were taken anyway. So some of the contractors pulled out. You know, they wouldn't have their guys with green cards come to work because they didn't need that. So that's also slowing it down. You know, they started with the restaurants and the bars, and then they moved on to the landscapers and the roofers and the contractors. So that slowed us down a little bit. And because this particular part of the project is right on Front Street, they don't even want to come out right now while the hubbub is still happening. So I totally get it, but I hope that we get it done before Thanksgiving.
So this, you touched on this briefly, but this is at a very major intersection in the downtown, and it's open to the public, right? Can you just describe a little bit what happens on the ground floor of this structure and how many people actually come into it to look around?
We have about, well, the ground floor is a museum exhibition space entirely, except for 200 square feet that is a gift shop selling books and charts and maps and that type of stuff. The second level, and each of these floors is roughly 7,500 square feet. The second level is also entirely exhibition space. That's a new exhibition space that's being created from the art side grant. On the third level, we have our conservation lab, and we have collection storage in, you know, high density racks, and an exhibition on that level talking about our shipwrecks from the 1500s. We have our library there. On the fourth level, we have office space, and we have our archives. And on the fifth level, which includes the clerestory, and it's the most beautiful place in all of Key West. You saw it. We do in January and February, we do public programming in there because it's cool enough. It's not air conditioned at the moment, but I just got a grant from the Tourist Development Council to try to cool it so that we could use it for a longer period of time. When we want to do public programs and we are not in January or February, we either do them out in the courtyard, we set up everything in the courtyard, or right across the street is the Opal Resort, and the lady who runs that property is a vice chairman of our board, so she will give us space. So sometimes we plan it for outside, we need a rain backup, that's where we'll go, is across the street. So every bit of this building is working. We do about 226,000 people a year.
But every level is open to the public, essentially. Your office.
Yeah, essentially, at one time or another. And that's kind of why you have something. Yeah.
I'd just like to say that the storage that we've just put in is open storage, so that the public takes tours of the conservation lab to see how that's done. But what they see on the other side of the space is a complete glass wall with shelving. Some of it, of course, you can't see into, but it's got a curated series of shelves that describes shipwreck artifacts and conservation and different shipwrecky kind of stuff. So,
and the glass wall is about 48 feet long, so it's a massive presence. When you step out of the elevator and you're on that level, it just overwhelms you.
Like future FHC meeting should be.
Perhaps.
You're
I would
invited anytime.
be happy to go on that trip too. I was there about a year ago, and I know the secretary visited too, really, and enjoyed his tour, and your exhibits are just.
We tried to talk him to death, but he survived somehow. He must be hardy.
Yes, he is. He travels a lot.
It is.
Not anymore. They just made it look like Miami.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Madam Chair,
It was.
Yes, Rick.
I think it would be fantastic to have one of our meetings one of these days in Key West.
We will definitely, I will look into that. We'll look at our budget.
I'll facilitate if you need be.
Actually, I was surprised. It's not as expensive to fly to Key West as it is to fly to North Carolina.
That's right.
Yes.
Or to fly to Tallahassee for that matter.
Talk about that in our historic meeting. We have a meeting in February and
Yeah, maybe.
Weather's great in February.
great.
Oh, yeah.
Bring your significant other, Valentine's Day is right around there.
Anyway,
Definitely.
fabulous
Thank you.
application,
Thank you.
as usual. You do a really good job explaining the project, detailing the budget, telling us why it's a truly important structure. So good job.
Thank you.
Frank Terraferma has his hand raised.
John Browning?
Yes, I'd like to say, I did looked at a conflict of interest, and we determined that I did not have one. I gave them a fair amount of stuff, some 20, I don't want to say how many years ago, many years ago, and they have done a wonderful job. They're really first class, all professional, and the things that people have donated, they've taken care of. Mel Fisher stuff, they have a lot of things besides that. And congratulate you, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, I'd just like to say that I was there at the time, and I have to thank John because he gave us an untouched shipwreck. So we got to do all the archaeology. It wasn't like the Mel Fisher gift where we got stuff one day in 1986. It was Mel's, and then it was ours the next day. Thank God I wasn't there. But John didn't do that. He didn't touch anything. He came to us. He said, I found this shipwreck, scares the hell out of me. Take it over. He didn't say it quite like that. He was a little bit. So, and never interfered with that. So, and that's a big part of what we now show because it's 1564. So that's
Great.
Oh, John, let's not go there. We're both
We'll have
much
to go
too old
visit
to be in
then.
this room, really.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Oh, Judy has one more question.
Yeah, what is your relationship with the Mel Fisher Archaeology Organization?
Absolutely none. The Mel Fisher group, as I'm sure you well know, was in our building. Mel Fisher bought the building from Pridham Singh, from the person who, yeah. And we bought the building in 2000. And as part of the deal, we had to give we did give them a 20-year lease on part of the building. That obviously expired in 2020. And since then, that's why Melissa is able to say that we now have public exhibits in every square inch of the building. And that's why 10 years ago, she called me and said, I have this little job. I know you're retired, but you might want to give it a go. And yeah, so I couldn't resist.
But there are no Fishers on the board.
There are no Fishers on the board.
It's broken apart completely.
But you're still.
Why do you keep, the name business?
name.
Yes.
Well, really,
You take this one.
really, the thing is that Mel Fisher is extremely famous. We have other shipwreck entities in town that have come and gone. We have one in particular that is a commercial museum. I don't know how that. It's one of the beefs of my life. You should be a 501c3, but so we have kept the name because people watching television still, even when they're looking at the Fisher family, they hear the Fisher name. It's a marketing thing. I'm hoping that we outlast the negative qualities of the name, just as the Guggenheim and some of the others have. But in Judy's mind, I know we never will. So,
I don't know. I was just curious about that.
no,
I know it's a draw. I know it's a draw.
It's a draw, and especially now we depend very heavily on admissions income. So I don't think this would be the time to change. We do have other names in which we are registered, but we haven't been able to switch because as long as there's, I don't want to make too long a story here, but as long as there's things like the Shipwreck Historium, which is just down the street from us, people go there and think that's us. And then they often come to our doorstep and say, is this the real history museum?
Yeah.
We live in a tourist destination par excellence. It's not Daytona Beach. It's not things that are sort of mixed. This is all we get. There's nothing else going on. We don't even have Key West aloe anymore, if you ever like them.
Thank you.
Frank Terraferma seems to have a question.
Go, Frank. Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, Frank, go ahead.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. The question that I had was and this sort of talks to what Rick has mentioned. The staff noted that there was not architectural or engineering services for this project. Is that
No, there are.
staff or, okay.
There are,
That they were-
John Mateo, if you look at our team attachment, John Mateo is both an historic architect and an engineer. Alfonso Narvaez, who is Aon, who is the preservation contractor, was a National Park Service employee. He now teaches National Park Service people historic preservation. These folks did the work on the Capitol Dome in Washington, D.C. I gave you 89 pages of bios and photographs of their work. I'm sorry, Judy, I know. But their work is incredible, and they saved me from myself.
Frank, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And, okay, Rick, did you have a question also?
No, just that their bio is scary. It's that good, you know?
All right. Maybe they'll work in Florida more. All right.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you so
getting me
much.
off the rock.
All right. Good conversation. All right. And now our last project, number 59 from the City of Key West Historic Waterfront Playhouse Rehabilitation.